Okay, it looks like we're live. The title today is Gold's Vindication, 21 years after it was declared as good as dead. And yes, most of you have seen this editorial. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about an article that came out in the FT on Friday, which is really interesting. And it's one of the reasons for my title. It's nice to see all of you here. Andrew Watson's here, Dutch Libertarian, Andrew Brown, Justin Taylor, Justin Taylor, Rudy. By the we went out, my wife and I, for lunch in London with a friend. It's Father's Day. My daughter, it's her birthday as well, but she went to a festival with friends. So, but we still went to London, and we actually celebrated my wife's birthday as well, which is in a few days. So Rudy, he's spending the day with a friend and his daughter. They went to the seaside, and he's not back yet, Rudy, but I think he's had a really good time. So yeah, no Rudy. We got the cushion, and about the Rudy collection, it should be coming up soon. The website with the Rudy merchandise, hopefully by next week or the week after. I'll let you guys know. Dillwyn Roberts is here. Jerry Mandarin, Andrew Watson from Basingstoke, Hio Silver, Ted Tabasso's here. Nashville Pasta Man. He's in Nashville. Do you ever get a copy of Jens Parsons, The Dying of Money? No, I haven't seen that. I would have to have a look at it. Yeah. Scott Lynn, Omaha, in Omaha, 40 ounces of freedom. Happy Father's Day. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Uh, Big J from Minnesota. Darren Smith. Yeah, he's missing Rudy, yeah, but he'll be back. Um, he went, yeah, he went to the seaside. I told my friend, be careful, he might want to jump in. He loves water. Uh, Joe Potter, good day. It says to Darren Smith. So I'm on my own today. Clive's not on, but it doesn't matter. It's n not a problem, of course. And I'll try to answer a lot of your questions. So yeah, this editorial here, I've had it for just over 21 years. And the FT basically did a hit job on gold. It said it was going gold. The pointlessness of holding bullion continues to sink in. And I think it was a really dishonest take on gold. But I remember at the time, though, the LBMA used to be run by the Rothschilds, and they actually left. They basically gave up on the LBMA or didn't want to be involved anymore directly. That's 2004. And Bill Murphy at the time, he was, well, he's still from GATA, Gold Antitrust Action Committee. What he thought was going on is that the Rothschilds didn't want to be involved with the LBMA because they knew there's a lot of shenanigans going on there, and that's why they kind of officially left the LBMA. And so this was written around the same time because it says here the barbarous relic, as Keynes called it, is crumbling to dust. When even the venerable N.M. Rothschild has quit the gold market. So there you go. I think this was just like a head fake. They haven't quit the gold market. I'm sure the Rothschilds still hold a lot of physical gold. So anyway, Carbone 239, our metals going green on the opening. Have you read 3 Days at Camp David? No. What about gold? I think gold and silver at the open tonight. Well, the open at 11 p.m. London. Yeah, I think they're going a lot higher. So is crude oil. I don't think the situation in the Middle East is getting any better. I think it's pretty serious. Back in October last year, Israel did hit some targets in Iran, but the Iranians didn't reply. But now they are replying, and I think things are going to get unfortunately serious. And yeah, that's the way I see it. Michael Pokorny says hi from Czech Republic. Czech Republic. I'm curious how the market starts tomorrow. Yeah, I think the markets are going to start higher, especially the metals and oil. Yeah, oil could go a lot higher, I think. We could see mid 80s to 90. I think WTI crude. Mailman from Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, Rudy is missing in action. He'll be back though. Uh Familing Glum, how much ETF paper silver exists? AI estimated it to 70% compared to all physical. I think a lot of the paper silver ETFs and LBMA unallocated silver, there's a huge leverage, and that's why I think silver is going a lot higher. William PMCD, the good news is that truth remains the constant under all terms and conditions, our subjective opinions notwithstanding. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and a lot of things that we know as truth might not be truth, but one thing's for sure, gold and silver, they've held their value for thousands of years. Paper hasn't. That's in the monetary sphere. There's a lot of other stuff, of course, that we could cover. Graham Diamond, I think gold to 2,600 this week. It's very possible. I've got here, I wrote down on Friday the weekly closes in all the major currencies of gold, and we can go through that right now. And in all the major currencies that I've written down here, gold had the highest ever weekly close. So in pounds, it closed at 22,528.81. And I got this from TradingView. In dollars, it closed at 3,432. In euros, all-time high, Swiss francs, Aussie dollar, Japanese yen, Canadian dollar, and even Chinese yuan. But yeah, Vladimir Johnson, I think we could easily get to 3,600, maybe even higher. I think that's how serious things are. It's not good, of course, but yeah, the world is really yeah, it's an age of turbulence and chaos, unfortunately, not just in the trade and monetary sphere, but now war. Not good. MU, what's your gold price prediction? Higher. I mean, I think we could easily get to 4,000 this year, but yeah, the point of holding gold, in my opinion, is not to make fiat profits, but as insurance. You need to think of it, you hold it for the long term, and it will protect your savings. And it has for many of you who have held gold for a long time. Pace Arrow, Mike Maloney says gold $10,000 this year. Anything's possible. I'm not saying it. I always try to be conservative because you want to pare down your expectations. But gold is not really going up. It's the currencies that are going down. And unfortunately, with what's happening geopolitically right now, and I have no side to back Iran or Israel, but I think the United States is right in the middle of it. And I think the US, unfortunately, is losing a lot of credibility. And if a country doesn't have credibility, its currency loses credibility, not just on the geopolitical negotiating side, but also on the fiscal monetary side. So I think this is a huge driver for the dollar. Andrew Brown says, I think you can buy back issues of the FT, including the 16th of April. Yeah, you might be able to. I mean, I just cut it out and I laminated it. Maybe I'll have a look at that. Maybe I can't. I think you're right. So why is gold back? Well, let me tell you why I think it's back. And it's because of this article here in the FT that came out Friday, late on Friday. So they call it the big read. So it's not like on the back pages, how gold became the world's refuge from uncertainty. So there you go. Even the FT now is having to admit that gold is becoming more and more important. They even touch upon the fact that gold is now the second most important reserve asset after the US dollar. So it's overtaken the euro. It talks about how the trade war has made things even worse for the dollar. People don't want to be, how can I say, exposed to too many dollar reserves. And yeah, so there you go. They've got a chart of gold here. And as you see in 2025, gold leads all major assets. So it's outperforming everything: Bitcoin, emerging markets, Swiss franc, yen, energy, everything. They haven't put silver here. Silver is probably second. And they've got a comment here from John Reed. He used to work for UBS. Oh, the other thing they talk about is central banks are plowing record amounts of into gold. And we've been talking about that for years. They started in 2022, as you can see here. They're buying net over 1,000 tons, which is like huge, as you can see here. It's in the post-Bretton Woods or post-World War II era, we haven't seen a central banks buy as much gold, and they're continuing to do it. So there you go. That's why I think gold is back. And if you read this whole article, there's still a lot of people that are not too convinced. But at the same time, they're admitting that you need to have some gold. And I think they're going to be proven wrong. Gold is going to come back in a major way. That's the way I see it. And you probably know that's the way I feel. And I've been talking to you about for many years. MU says, when will you invite Peter Schiff? Well, Peter Schiff has been on the channel. Maybe I will invite him again. So DL Bard, how can gold be second behind the US dollar, which is a debt note backed by nothing? Well, because that's the way it's been since the early 70s when the world went off gold and the US closed the gold window. And unfortunately, the US has been pushing the whole world to use the dollar. That's changing now, and yeah, I think gold will eventually overtake DL, the dollar, because the dollar is not really money. Gold is money. It's a real reserve asset. The other thing about the dollar, the euro, all fiat currencies, they're not really money because you can't extinguish that. They're debt-based currencies. So you can't really pay off debt with them. And that's why I see this system really breaking down. I don't know when it's going to be, but it's the way it's going. Norbert would like to see Jeremiah Babe on the show. Yeah, I've listened to Jeremiah Babe as well. Get Leor Gantz on a Sunday. Yeah, I know Leor well. Hopefully he's doing okay. James H., what are your thoughts on rhodium? To be honest, I haven't really followed rhodium too much, so I don't have much to tell you. Lane all obliterator. Surely, if things are getting cheaper, priced in gold, land, houses, food, price of gold is actually really no. Like you say, everything's going down, and if you have gold, you're doing well. It's like deflationary, really. Trump has tackle set gold silver ratio to 80, then 56. Uh, Central Law says, when will you invite the market sniper? Well, he came on a couple of weeks ago on the live stream. So he has been on the market sniper. Let me see when it was. And I'll put a link for you. He was on with me and Clive Thompson. Let me see. Content. Yeah, he was on the 1st of June, the market sniper. Let me here's the link. He was on the live stream on a Sunday. There you go. Excalibur, rhodium is a tougher market to trade or track. I think the best high scarcity metal to deal with at max should be platinum. Tim Gibson, Iran must make a deal before there's nothing left. Well, yeah, that's quite rich coming from Trump because that's what the Iranians thought they were doing. They're trying to make a deal, and they're supposed to meet, I think, today for the final or the sixth meeting or something. But then they got bombed. So I'm not sure Iran can trust the US or Israel anymore. But I don't want to get too political, but that's the way I see it. Doug Wilder from Southern California. Hi, Doug. Yeah, platinum. I think platinum is on its way up. I think it's started to break out. Phil Ward, Mario, thank you for educating us so consistently. You're welcome. And thank you for, yeah, watching my content. Dakota Daisy, if you had gold, how long will you sit on it? Well, I'd like to sit on it for as long as I can because it's supposed to be insurance and it's supposed to be generational wealth. That's how you have to look at gold. Of course, you can always liquidate your gold if you have an emergency, but I think you should think like a central bank. You should have it as part of all your investments, and it's like the base. Todd Gavin, uh, it is God's money shekel of silver, talents of gold. That is my belief, and we will prevail as stackers because it is God's money. Well, yeah, there is that. The other thing as well, it's honest money because it can't be tinkered with. It can't be printed out of thin air and ad, ad infinitum, right? Mike Korn from Sacramento. Hi, Mike. Luca says Gulf War induced inflation. Yeah, I don't believe in that, Luca, because inflation is a monetary phenomenon. Um, it's money printing and the creation of currency out of thin air and debt out of thin air that creates that's inflation, which leads to higher prices, a debasement of the currency. Uh, the powers that be always seem to do that. Like in the 70s, we had massive inflation, and then you had again with Iran, the revolution there, the hostage crisis, oil went through the roof, and even at the time I was quite young, and what people told us was that the high oil price caused inflation, but it wasn't. It was the 10 years of money printing since Nixon closed the gold window that resulted in inflation, and it's going to be the same now. The inflation we've seen since 2008. That's what's causing higher prices and currency debasement. Uh, if oil were to go to 100, and we'd see commodities a lot higher. And yes, they're going to blame Iran and the crisis, but ultimately, uh, it's the central banks and government spending, deficit spending, and the debt that creates it. Nat Natz's Iber, yeah, inflation it's control. Well, really is controlled by the government, and it's theft because we can't inflate the currency. We can't print money out of thin air to buy things, but only governments and the banks and the banking system can do it. Under a sound money system where gold and silver or anything else is money, it's got to be real. So yeah, inflation is uh, the only people that can create inflation is the government. Uh, the can, thank you for your super chat. Do you think silver will reach 100 by 2035? Yeah, I think it will happen before 2035. I think I spoke about that recently, and I said it could happen by the end of 2027. Jay, Mary, do you think the gold to silver ratio is over 90 to 1 because the central banks own the majority of the gold? Partly, yeah, because not because they own the majority, but because they've been buying gold and they haven't been buying silver. But the other reason, and I had Vince Lancy on, he thinks the bullion banks have been selling silver because they've been trying to keep gold from going even higher. So that's the way I see it. It's yeah, yeah. I don't. But the central bank said they don't buy silver. Maybe the Russians have been buying silver. But anyway, I do expect silver to continue to outperform gold as it has in the last week or so. Armando Reyes, thank you for your super chat. Large, and I mean large swaths of land in Texas and Arkansas are being cleared for solar panels for miles as far as the eye can see. Yeah, they're doing the same thing here in the UK and in the rest of Europe. And it's crazy, in my opinion. They're supposed to be environmental, these people, and they're just like covering the countryside with this stuff. I'm not saying I'm against solar energy, but it just seems a bit over the top. I think it's all about the money because the governments, be they state governments or central governments, They're in it. They're in it, and their cronies are benefiting from it. It wouldn't happen in a free market, in my opinion. Hizya 18. Have you thought of inviting Alex Kreiner to your show? Uh, I haven't heard of the guy, but I can look it up. Um, so yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Mailman says gold is like life insurance. You don't sell your life insurance. I agree. And the other thing about gold is that it's savings basically. And yeah, you save for a rainy day, and hopefully there won't be a rainy day. I think the most important thing is to have a steady income and to keep a surplus, a budget surplus. Yes, for yourself and your family. And if you look at the word economics, it comes from the Greek. It means managing your household. And unfortunately, governments they haven't been managing their household for the last 50 years, and that's why all the major Western economies and are in the state that they're in. Lane all obliterator, silver strategic gold is a place storage large amounts of wealth. Yeah, I agree, and I think Lynette Zhang also says that silver, for example, uh, you can use it to barter or to exchange things when everything else fails, and gold is more of a wealth preservation. Even though I think silver will preserve wealth as well, it will be more volatile. Uh, Pat Laughter. Pax Gold on a takeoff again. Yeah, I've seen that Pax Gold. It's like a crypto gold. Yeah, I wouldn't put. Yeah, I don't know if it's something worth watching, but I think gold will open higher though when the futures open later on. Grozier X. Oh, this is in Portuguese. It says your channel saved my financial life and my mental health. It gave me peace and tranquility to understand what's happening in the world and what to do to protect myself. And he says, thank you. De nada. That means you're welcome in Portuguese. Some of you might not know I'm originally from Brazil, so yeah, Groiser X, he's writing there in Portuguese, and I'm happy I could have been of help. Let's check this Pax Gold because we can get a price for that. Let's have a look. Pax. Well, it's at 3,486, which is about 50 bucks higher, which isn't really, yeah, it's quite a bit, but here we go. There's Pax Gold. It's trading at 3,486. Um, yeah, so I think this was the close here on Friday, around 34, and now it's gone up a little more. Anyway, I'll just show you because I wrote down all those closes on my legal pad. So here it is. These are the gold highest weekly close, not just in I owe you nothing's dollar. And this is what John Exter called the dollar, I owe you nothings, because there's nothing behind any of these fiat currencies except debt. So all these major currencies closed at weekly all-time highs, as you can see. And I've got this up as well, the US national debt, because it's approaching, we're very close to 37 billion. So what else have we got here? Oh, this is a post from Mohammed El Arian. He used to work for PIMCO, one of the biggest, well, it's the biggest bond fund. He doesn't work there anymore, but he says here, and this was, I think, Friday, as I've been highlighting recently, don't look to US Treasuries for safe haven or flight to quality flows. Their yields barely budged after the Israeli attack on Iran. Instead, watch gold and silver. The flows are happening. They're just not headed to treasuries as historical experience would suggest. So there you go. Even the guy who worked for the biggest bond fund is admitting that gold and silver are the safe havens. So he's president of Queen's College, Cambridge University, Allianz advisor, so he's very mainstream and he's admitting it. So there you go. What else have we got here? Yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to show you guys is this clip. It's an old clip. And let's see if that, that's not working. Stop share. Where is it? Here we are. Yeah. Oh, so here we go. I'm going to play this for you guys.
Very quickly, if you could answer another question, because I'm curious about this. You know, the price of gold today is $1,580. The dollar during these last 3 years was devalued almost 50%. When you wake up in the morning, do you care about the price of gold?
Well, I pay attention to the price of gold, but I think it reflects a lot of things. It reflects global uncertainties. I think the reason people hold gold is as a protection against what we call tail risk, really, really bad outcomes. And to the extent that the last few years have made people more worried about potential of a major crisis, then they have gold as a protection.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money. Even if it has been money for 6,000 years, somebody reversed that and eliminated that economic law.
Well, it's an asset. I mean, it's the same. Would you say treasury bills are money? I don't think they're money either, but they're financial
Why do
assets.
central banks hold it?
Well, it's a form of reserves.
So why don't they hold diamonds?
Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
You know, some people still think it's money. I yield back. My time is up. Thank you. Very quickly, if you could answer.
So yeah, you guys probably have seen this one. I thought that was great. Gold is tradition, but more and more people realizing, I mean, if central banks are holding gold and buying gold, it's because it's money, right? Not tradition. Big Bush Ape, thank you for your super chat. Hi, Mara. I have stacked 39 ounces of gold over many years and 300 silver ounces. I want to buy land with my gold and keep my silver. Your opinion? I think land is good to have. And yeah, if I was gonna get rid of some of my gold, land would be at the near the top of the list. So I think it's good. And I don't know what type of land you want to buy. Is it to build a property or to farm? But I think land is good. I think real estate, the only time real estate is not really good is when you leverage a lot. But so there you go. And I think if you keep your silver, I think you're still going to do well. So I think it's reasonable, Big Bush Ape. And it's just my opinion, not advice. DL Bard says the US debt clock today, ratio of physical silver to paper silver at 365.94. Yeah, I mean, if you look at how gold and silver have done since 2000, um, if silver were to match what gold has done, it would need to be around $60. So yeah, silver is still heavily undervalued. Here's your 18. How did silver behave during the Weimar hyperinflation? Yeah, it did well, but not as well as gold, mainly because silver is more bulky. So, but it did well too. Silver outperformed. Engelbert Humperdinck, what do you think the price of land will do when interest rates hit 12 and a half, 12 to 15%? Yeah, no, they won't do well. And I think if when interest rates go to that level, because I think we will go there, it's not just land, but everything will be, uh, there will be no liquidity, there will be no transactions. So it's going to be very hard if you have land, to sell it. The only thing that will be liquid is like gold and silver, and the paper money won't be worth much. So, but yeah, but land is always good. I mean, you can live on it, you can farm on it, but if you're looking for liquidity, it's not the best place. Chad, Wolf, Dorf at the end. Buy gold, silver is too heavy. Well, it's not that it's too heavy, it's just that you gotta buy a lot more, to store wealth with. But who knows? Some people think the gold silver ratio might go 1 to 1. Armando Reyes, thoughts on the super chat that I posted. Oh, let me see. Did I miss it? Oh, Ounces posted something here too. Thank you, Ounces. It says Happy Father's Day to all the dads watching. Oh, I'm on the raise. Sorry about that. It's just went through and I didn't see it. Thank you for the super chat. Because of everything that silver is used for, I believe a country like the US will be seized and confiscated, all in the name of national security. Um, I mean, there's no history of actually technically of confiscation of gold or silver. Um, the the Executive Order 6102 in 1933 by FDR was technically not confiscation, even though I believe, I think de facto it was. You're supposed to hand it in, and they gave you something in exchange, paper money, which isn't good. Uh, but I think it's going to be a lot harder to confiscate silver, and I don't think many people have silver, so I don't think it's worth it. I think where they could take the silver from is like the ETFs and maybe even some of the miners. They could nationalize mining companies. That's possible, but not like if you're holding silver as an individual. Lane all obliterator. I think I think it's good to buy both, really. Both gold and silver. Start with what you can afford. And yeah. Hacks, Max Hallam, Wars and Rumors of Wars, Earthquakes in Various Places, The Age of Aquarius is dawning. I mean, the Iranian thing, rumors of wars and talk of war about Iran, that's been going on for many, many years. Unfortunately, it looks like it's for real now. We'll have to see. I'm not gonna speculate. I think we're gonna find out very soon in the next few weeks. Clive Jonathan, I have just opened a gold bullion pension, having cashed in my equity from my work pension. I sleep better now. Well, that's good. Armando Ray, so do you think there will ever be a silver shortage? I think there is a silver shortage already. Silver has been in deficit for the last 5 years. Um, but what can, yeah, but what eventually will stop the shortage is higher prices. But there hasn't been big silver finds, mining finds in the last decade or even more. So I think there will be a silver shortage. Darren Smith, we all need to buy a dirty man safe. Yeah. Well, I think it's prudent to have a dirty man safe. And yeah, it's one of my affiliates. And if you want to find out more, it's in the description below. You can get 10% off with my link, Dirty Man Safe. Just have a sip of water. Ounces, thank you for your super chat. As the monetary system gets closer to collapse, we will continue to see wars escalate as the Western nations become desperate. Yeah, I agree. The other thing about wars and conflict and not really having peace is that the supply chains get disrupted, countries become more they look more inward, so it's things get more expensive and you get inflation. Governments start spending more because yeah, I think war as well is like what's been said in the past, that it's the health of the state. And yeah, they're gonna try to convince us we have all these enemies, and they're gonna they're gonna increase military spending like they're doing in Europe and in the UK, and that will all lead to more and more currency debates. And the reason they're doing that, in my opinion, is because if they don't, the whole system implodes because in our current system, the currency or the money is debt, and if they don't keep it going, it just implodes. Tim Renders, do you think premiums will rise significantly in the term, I mean, or short time? We have now 2% premium on 10-ounce gold coins in Antwerp. Yeah, I think premiums will at one point rise again. Yeah, they're fairly low right now. Like you say, 2% is pretty good. So you should take advantage of it. But yeah, of course, premiums ebb and flow. And I think what might get them higher, Tim, is the volatility. If the markets get a lot more volatile, dealers will have to increase their premium because when they sell or buy to you at a certain price, they need to protect their profitability. And if the market's moving a lot, they will raise the premium to protect that. Excalibur, some advice. Ignore the scared money talking about government confiscating gold or the silly unverified articles of major gold discoveries. Yeah, I agree with both of those points, Excalibur. Yes, the government might confiscate our gold or silver in the future, but if you didn't buy gold in the last 5 or 10 years because of that, you're losing out. So, and these stories of gold discoveries, they're all like bogus. There's one about Zaire, or was it Zaire or somewhere in Africa, Congo? This is just, you know, it's it takes a lot of investment in drilling and finding like resources. And after you find the resources, it takes years to develop the mine. Yeah, this is just silly stories. And the other thing about gold is that the stock to flow ratio is so high. A stock to flow ratio means how many years of mining production are above ground. And gold has the highest stock to flow ratio because it's money, it's not consumed. It's about 60 years. So even if they were to find and start mining a huge gold discovery, it might not, it won't really affect the price that much. That's what people forget. Uh, Tom Hawk says you're lucky over there in the UK with capital gains tax-free Britannias. Yeah, you're right. Uh, and not many people know about that. It's not just, so what he's talking about here is that in the UK, if you buy Britannias or sovereigns, this is a sovereign here, which is about just under a quarter of an ounce of gold. There's no capital gains tax because they're legal tender technically. Uh, the sovereign, which is about 590 pounds, that's actually legally £1. So there's no capital gains on any coin that's minted by the Royal Mint in the UK. It's one of the reasons why I've stuck to gold and silver and not Bitcoin or cryptos because those are liable to capital gains tax, and the threshold for paying capital gains is only £3,000. Armando Reyes, thank you for your super chat. Do you think governments will forgive people's debt if they agree to accept the new CBDC? Um, well, we don't, I mean, if people have debt, they don't owe it to the government, they owe it to banks. Uh, it's possible I mean, if the currency is written off, technically you don't owe anything to the banks, but don't be, yeah, in the past, uh, governments and bankers, they've forgiven, like during the Weimar Republic, they forgave most of the debt, but they still lumbered debtors um, with some debt. But you have, yeah, it could be, like you said, they could use that as a carrot to convince people to accept CBDC, which I think is a bad thing, of course. It's not real money. It's more of a way to control the public. Aleco, Georgia, if you want to buy gold and silver mix, what will be the mix ratio? Well, I'll tell you how I started. I mean, when got involved in precious metals, it was gold. I didn't think about buying silver. It was only a year after that I started buying silver. And I just, I don't know. I don't really have a ratio. I just buy both when I can. I don't really think about it. Um, that's the way I see it. And it's different for everyone, right? You need to buy both, and if you haven't bought any, buy both and see which one you prefer. I mean, it's as easy as that. I like both. Slovakia thinks oil will go to $130. It's possible. JM, historically, it used to be a pound of silver, but it's changed over the centuries. Yeah. Smitty 25C8 says Creepy Carney is trying to make it illegal to use cash for purchases over 10,000. Yeah, that's the Prime Minister of Canada who used to work for Goldman Sachs, who was the head of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. Yes, he is a WEF clown. I agree. Yeah, that's right. The deplorable QLAC is a reference to a pound of silver. So that even that has been corrupted because, yeah, this is not a pound of gold, right? But legally it's a pound. Silver Drill Pickle Mario boots on the ground agree with you. WTI said to run much higher. Take this from someone in West Texas. Yeah. Yesterday I was invited to play golf by a friend. It was about just under an hour from where I live. So I filled the tank. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to go a lot higher. And you know, the price of gas or petrol, as we call it in the UK, has been pretty steady actually for the last 2 years. It hasn't really moved, but I think it's going to move now. And they're going to blame that for the troubles that the economy is already in. They always do that. Uh, Carney also worked for the BIS. Yeah, I mean, it was during when he worked for the bank, when he was the head of the Bank of England. He was also the head of the FSB, Financial Stability Board. So yeah, a lot of these central bankers, they kind of have two posts, like at their central bank and at the BIS. It's interchangeable. It's a it's basically a cozy club and also above the law. D. Peterson says gold starts trading in an hour and 35 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's quarter to nine. I think the futures opens at 11 UK time, 11 p.m. So it's about 2 hours and 15, I think. Steve Hall, what's everyone's opinion on hyperinflation by 2027? Well, you know, I've been of the view that we are going to get hyperinflation, and you could be right. 2027, smack in the middle of the fourth turning or the winter. So it's possible. Deja vu, how's Credit Suisse doing? I haven't really followed it too much. I mean, they took over UBS. Well, actually, no, UBS took over Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse has already collapsed, so it's not doing deja vu all over again. That's what Yogi Berra said. Cheryl Fetic, hi Mario, I just caught your video. Slovakia 41 silver by August. Yeah, that's realistic. I agree. Hio Silver says thumbs up for Mario. Thank you. Chris Johnston, how many countries have gold trapped in revaluation accounts? If they wanted to revalue collectively, how would they do that? Well, gold is already being revalued. I think it's only the US that uh, counts it at $42.22. So I think the ECB, they value it at market. But I also think a lot of countries, Chris, uh, they care more about how many tons they have, not, the fiat value of gold. Ounces says we could see new all-time highs for gold this week. Uh, we're only you were less than $100 from there, so yeah, it's very possible. If you remember well, like April and even early May, or a few weeks ago, gold was doing $100 moves, like very easily. So I agree with you, ounces. And thank you for the super chat again. Armando, thank you for the super chat. What is your opinion on none of the BRICS nations coming to Iran's aid? Why even join BRICS? Are you saying that they, I mean, I think it's a bit early to speculate on that. Um, I think they will aid Iran, and I've heard that China's already aiding Iran. I don't know how credible that is. And why do I think that? Well, because if they don't help Iran, they're going to be next in line. So that's the way I see it. And I'm not taking sides here, I'm just observing things. Jeff, 43 in the UK, capital gains tax allowance was 12. Yeah, I know they've reduced it. And it wasn't even Labor who did it. It was the conservatives. They reduced it from 12 to 6 and now to 3. You could argue that even 12 is not that much. So yeah, it doesn't help the economy because it doesn't incentivize people to invest. And there are a lot of other things they've done that doesn't incentivize people, like putting up stamp duty for people buying second homes or properties to rent. They've raised the stamp cap, not council tax as well. They've doubled it for people who have second properties. Yeah, the UK, unfortunately, and most other countries, they're adopting really bad economic policies. Hizia, when it comes to the UK, which bank would be the first one to go under? I haven't really looked too deeply into the health of individual banks in the UK. Uh, I mean, maybe Metro Bank, even though I saw a story that private equity wants to buy Metro Bank. So I don't know. NatWest, I mean, I think they're all vulnerable anyway. Hizia. Dan, the Tube Man, war spending incoming. Gold will break 45,000 by 2030. Well, yeah, the world will be an interesting place if that happens. Winter Night said he just bought a sovereign online before the markets open. So gold should go down. Yeah, well, it's not for trading, is it? It's just for insurance. Caroline Williams, invite Gordon Brown on your show. Yeah, I don't think he would accept my invitation. I've tried to invite a few times Mervyn King, and I even sent an email to his secretary, but he never had enough time to come on my channel. Uh, but I have had Peter Lilly, who was an NP, on. We talked about the fact that all these alternative renewable energies are basically a scam, and he was one of only 5 MPs to vote against the Climate Change Act of 2008. I think Ann Widdecombe was the other one. So yeah, I think he's a good guy, even though he's been made a lord, Lord Lilly. Oh, we got 9 minutes. Lane all obliterator. I found some gold in my house. A 750 Italian 18 karat Italian chain. Didn't even know about it. Oh, that's it's always nice to find gold like that you didn't know. Yeah, Craig Somerset Squirrel. Renewables are never there when you really need them. That's right. I think a few years ago in Germany, there was a really cold winter and the wind turbines froze and they had to, I think, use diesel to get them going again. So there you go. Andy Brown, Liz Truss as a guest. Yeah, yeah, I know. She's kind of woken up, I think, to who really runs the show. Um, One person I'd like to get on the show is also Thomas Massey, and I've contacted his press secretary because one of the my followers here uh, knows uh, knows them, and I got a reply. He's too busy to come on, but they said they'll keep me in mind. I'd really like to have him on. I've had Ron Paul on a few years ago. Ohio silver, 75 ounces of silver for a house in during the Weimar Republic. I mean, it's really hard to know exactly, when you go into a currency collapse, one day you could buy a house for 75 ounces, and the next day, if you find someone really desperate, it could be 10. The things are all over the place. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Apart from Romania, advised to buy gold chain or wedding rings when the S hits the fan, you can easily cut it into smaller pieces to pay for things. That's right. Yeah, gold jewelry is always good. I mean, it's just all you need to do is weigh it properly and know the purity of the metal. Richie's network. What's the oldest thing, gold, silver, paper, whatever, that you've ever owned and has increased in price by a substantial amount? Yeah. Well, it's not paper, but yeah, it's gold and silver. Well, back in I think it was around 2005 at work, one of my colleagues came over and said, "Oh, we're investing in the this bonded wine, Chateau Lafite Rothschild wine," and they asked me, "Do you want to get involved?" And I said, "Sure." And I think it was about 2,500, 3,000 pounds. So I bought this wine, bonded wine, and then a year later, my friend came over and said, "Well, it's worth seven now, 7,000." So I was surprised, and so I sold it and went on a really nice holiday and had some money left. But over the long term, though, gold and silver haven't disappointed. Slovakia are all people here in the chat stackers? I probably would say so. I mean, this is one of the things I've been talking about since I started the channel in late 2015. Uh, I don't advise people, but I tell them what I do and how it's done. So yeah, most people have. Anton Spoji, Mara, thanks for all you do from Bratislava, Slovakia. You're welcome. Silver, you going abroad this summer? Yes, we are. I'll keep it at that. Andy McCaskill collectible whiskey. Yeah, I mean that's also something that's interesting. Hi, oh Silver, get your got your popcorn ready, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Uh, I mean, I hate to see what's going on in the world, but what can we do? I mean, um, yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is like as long as you as an individual do things that if you're a good person and you act decently, there's not much unfortunately we can do about what's happening in the world. And the best we can do is to treat people like we want them to treat us. So yeah, don't let these the people who are running the world get to you. That's what I would say. Hizzy, I will check Alex Kreiner. He did an interview today with Glenn Deason. He's a market analyst and former hedge fund manager. All right. Will the USA government do another gold turn in policy before revaluation? What do you mean by a gold turn? You mean, yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, gold is already being, yeah, I mean, repricing of the statutory price. It's very possible, even though Besson has said they're not going to do it. Jeff 43, I should think you have some books that have increased in value. Oh yeah, yeah. I think A Pocketbook of Gold by Jim Sinclair. I have some books also by Christopher Story. They have increased in value as well. Rick, yeah, no guests. Clive couldn't make it, so I'm on my own. I mean, for years I did it on my own, so I don't mind. Greg Manarino, yeah, bringing him on. Yeah, I watch him once in a while. He's kind of gone. I don't know. He's wearing a funny hat now. Not that it matters, but yeah, he's an interesting guy. I kind of agree with pretty much everything he says. Craig, yeah, silver is being controlled by the paper pushers, but I I think it's getting harder and harder for them to do so. So I don't think for that much longer. Tomahawk, yeah, I remember when Max Kaiser used to say buy silver and crash JP Morgan. He doesn't care about silver or gold anymore, though. He's all into something else. So I'm gonna call it a night here or a day wherever you are, and we've gone past 9 o'clock. And I'm going to thank all of you for being here and thank you for your support. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy my content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also hit the little notification bell uh, of all to because I post a video every day. So there you go. And thanks again, everyone. And I'll talk to you soon.